Today's video features a Warlock solar build that has been greatly improved by the artifact mods released in Act 2 of Echoes. This solar build will have you blowing up anything and everything while also creating an easy to use ability loop that will have you getting your grenades and supers frequently and having near instant class ability regen. So if you're looking for a fun and destructive solar build, then this video is for you. I'll cover the aspects, fragments, exotics, mods, and weapons you'll need to become a god of flame with this Warlock build. Diving into our build, and we are going to be starting with our super, which is going to be Song of Flame. This is going to give us our supercharged melee. This is also going to give us our flame wisp. That's also going to have scorching explosions. And so all of this build is really about scorching, ignitions, all that good stuff. And so Song of Flame is just so perfect for this. Of course, you can always run Daybreak, but it's just not nearly as good as Song of Flame. So I feel like it's pretty straightforward here. In terms of our abilities, I really like Phoenix Dive, again, because with how we have this build set up, you're gonna be getting your class ability very quickly, and this is gonna tie into proccing or shortening the regen of a lot of our other abilities. So I do recommend Phoenix Dive here, but if you're struggling with survivability or you're running really high-end content where you just need more health, Healing Rift could be great as well. And then for our melee, I'm running Incinerator Snap. And then for our grenade, I'm choosing Fusion Grenade. I just really like the short cooldown, the amount of damage it does, the scorch it provides, along with the ignition. So it's just a lot of fun for me to use personally. But really, you could use another grenade here if you really had a stronger preference. But I just really like the Fusion Grenade. And then for our aspects, I'm running Hellion. This is going to give us that solar mortar. This just really helps with applying a lot of scorch stacks, and it's going to give us a lot of bonus ignitions and just another way to stack on scorch. And then for our second one, I'm using Touch of Flame. This works great with our fusion grenade because it's going to give us 2 explosions instead of just 1, so even more scorch and even more damage. Next, for our fragments, I'm running Ember of Char. Your solar ignition spreads scorch to affected targets. So again, as we get those ignitions off, which we will be getting a lot of them, it's going to spread scorch to targets nearby. And then running Ember of Eruption. Your solar ignitions have increased area of effect. And so again, it's going to further increase the area of damage our ignitions can do. And then Ember of Singeing, your class ability recharges faster when you scorch targets, and this just gets your class ability back so fast, especially with a lower cooldown to Phoenix Dive. So I really enjoy running Ember of Singeing with this build overall. Could you swap this out for something else? Probably, but I just like having my class ability as quickly as possible. And then lastly, we're running Ember of Ashes. You apply more scorch stacks to targets, so it's going to allow us to get those scorch stacks even faster, which is ultimately going to get us those ignitions faster as well. Jumping into our exotic, and this is one I've been enjoying a lot, and it's going to be Dawn Chorus. And you have Rites of Ember. Your daybreak projectiles deal more damage and scorch targets on impact, but more importantly for our specific build, your scorch is improved and you gain a small amount of melee energy when you scorch damages a target. And so our scorch is going to be damaging all the things all the time, as we kind of talked about in the intro. And so this gives us a really easy way to get our melee back, but also again improves our scorch overall. And so it's going to allow us to do more damage, get more ignitions, and just ties in perfectly for this overall build that is all about those stacks of scorch and ignitions. And so Dawn Chorus to me really is a no-brainer for this build. Now, how this ties into our weapons is going to be important, and I tried a lot of different solar weapons with this build, and it's just, you just can't beat Dragon's Breath, especially when you have the catalyst. And so got here, rockets embed themselves in struck targets and periodically eject incendiary fuel to inflict scorch. And so this is going to allow you to do a ton of damage, get a ton of ignitions. It's just constantly scorching targets. It's just great for DPS on any type of boss, packs of enemies, you name it. And then you get the catalyst. This weapon replenishes its fuel faster. Defeating targets with this weapon causes them to periodically drop fire sprites. And so with that, it also like basically auto reloads itself and gets to its time 5 stacks, so it's gonna do the most damage. And so I really just can't stress how good Dragon's Breath is. And of course you have high octane. Igniting nearby targets partially replenishes fuel, and so this will again help it refuel like we kind of talked about. So you could run a lot of different solar options. You know, if you're running something a little bit more distance, you could run something like Polaris Lance, but Dragon's Breath just is a DPS beast with this build when it comes to ignitions and scorch stacks. And then from there, for my energy slot, I am running Luna's Howl. I'm just using this for ads and cleanups. You could try using like a double a double energy weapon here if you wanted to, but I do recommend using a solar kind of weapon. I got this one with heal clip incandescent. So again, just another way to scorch enemies as well as give me some survivability with heal clip. And these two just pair so well together. And I got everything enhanced, which is nice. So highly recommend this if you have one, or any kind of solar weapon with incandescent that doesn't require special ammo is going to be great. And then for our kinetic slot, I'm running Succession. If you have a rapid frame sniper rifle, that might be a little bit better here, but this is really going to tie into our artifact. But I do recommend a sniper because it's going to give us one more way to get those scorch stacks, as we're going to talk about when we talk about our mods. For our mods, I'm actually going to start with our artifact mods, and first one running Overcharge Armory, don't really need to worry about that. Having authorized scavenger mods, it can be nice if you feel like you're getting short on ammo. From here though, we got incendiary rifle rounds, solar sniper rifle, precision hits, scorch targets. So if we needed it, we have even another way to continue to scorch targets. And this is what really makes using Succession or a sniper rifle really good here. Of course, Still Hunt is out there, but can't run that with Dragon's Breath. So kind of is out in this specific build. And then we're using Radiant Orbs. This is going to give us another way to do even more damage. And so as we pick up Orbs of Power, we're going to become Radiant. And then we're running Solar Fulmination. Your ignitions do increase damage and increase radius. And so this allows our ignitions to just destroy and absolutely eviscerate everything around us as they go off, as we're gaining Scorch Stack from so many different sources. And in the overall build, we have increased Scorch Stacks with Dawn Chorus. We have improved Scorch and that melee regeneration from Scorch. So there's just a lot really going for him in this build. And then we're running Shield Crush. Will amplify to Radiant. Your grenades retreat, specifically for Radiant, your grenade recharges faster and deals increased damage, so that is nice. We're not really gonna get the melee benefit all that much, but again, our grenade is going to do even more damage with those fusion grenades, which is nice. And then we're using Sniper's Meditation. Sniper rifle hits grant stacking sniper rifle damage, stability, and reload bonuses for a short time. Heavy ammo sniper rifle hits count as more than one, so this makes our sniper even more strong on top of the scorch stacks we're going to be providing and the ignitions we're going to be getting. This will also make our sniper do more damage, but the stability bump is nice as well because that's going to help with flinch. And flinch already got reduced by 50% in PvE. I believe it's 50%. And then so having the stability on top of that will be helpful as well for just staying on target for those precision hits. For the rest of our mods, for my helmet, I'm running Double Harmonic Siphon. So this is going to give us rapid solar final blows, create an orb of power. So let's get Radiant Orbs a little bit easier. And then Font of Wisdom, just something to give us our super back a little bit faster. So we can get our super a little bit quicker, but I didn't really find this to be a problem in this build, but I thought this one was here just a nice to have. And then for our gloves, I'm running double firepower, so when we get kills with our fusion grenade, that's going to give us an orb of power. And then the chest piece, you can run whatever resistant mods you feel are best suited for the activity you're running. And then I'm running double solar weapon surge, just to make sure our solar weapons do as much damage as possible on top of being radiant. And when you pair this with something like Dragon's Breath, it's just ridiculous the amount of damage you do. So not 100% required necessarily, but I thought it was one of those nice to haves. It just made the build that much more lethal. And then for our class ability, since we're gonna be getting our class item mod or Warlock bond, I should say, I'm running Bomber and Outreach. So this, when we use our class abilities, can reduce our melee and grenade cooldown. And then shortly after using your class ability, your next weapon final blow spawns an orb of power. So all these combined with how often we're using Phoenix Dive is really, really nice. And so it creates a nice loop here that reduces that cooldown a little bit across just all our different abilities, our grenade, our melee, and getting that orb of power when we get an easy kill after using our Phoenix Dive. So overall, just lots of nice synergy here between creating some additional orbs, allowing us to do some additional damage to just help facilitate and improve all the damage we're going to be doing already via applying Scorch and those ignitions. So overall, I wouldn't say I was surprised by how potent this build was necessarily, but I think just not using Dragon's Breath in a little bit and trying out some of these artifact mods, it just really is insane how powerful these ignition builds really are. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one and try it with Dawn Chorus. I'm absolutely loving it and just absolutely flying through activities with this build. But let me know down in the comments below, what are some builds you're trying with the release of this second act and these new artifact mods? I'd love to hear some of the ignition builds y'all are enjoying down in the comments below.